Once again, it's a very horrible day. Throwing it down. We've got every rain forecast all day long, and we've still got 45 to 50 mile an hour winds. They have died down over the last couple of days, but today they've picked back up. But that's not stopped me coming out and making a start on something for the new season. And one of the first things I'm doing is onions, because they need a really long growing season. So the sooner we get those started, the better. But before we get into doing onions, I'll show you a little bit of progress we've had over the last couple of days. That's a 5-foot carrot container. And you can see that they're doing really well. They still need a bit of thinning out. But then again, we could just leave those and harvest baby carrots if we want. It's still stew weather. But the good news is that they're still looking really well. And that's all that matters in winter. So's that garlic. That coal's not bothered it at all. And also, finally, those broad beans have germinated, which is going to be a good start to the year. I have noticed this one though has had a little visitor. You can see a slug's been on there already, so I think we're going to have to just cover those up. As soon as those green tops come out, slugs will find them and they'll just start and chew tops off your plants. So I'm just going to pop that over the top, and now they've got plenty of light and nothing can get in there. But apart from those sweet peas that we did have really come on now. We've got loads and loads germinating, and we've definitely got 3 or 4 plants in each cell there. So that's 20 multi-sown sweet pea seeds, which we'll move on into a container to grow them a bit bigger, and then we'll plant them out early spring. And also as beetroot again, that we're multi-sown, is doing really well. If you look on this tray, something I forgot to mention, that's the multi-sown beetroot that we did, but the other half of the tray, they're onions that we did before Christmas, and again you can see they're multi-sown. And I'm pretty sure we did spring onions, but either way we've got quite a bit of germination. And we've got some bigger cabbages as well, and they're Chinese cabbages that we're going to be potting on very shortly. And I think I'll pop these trays outside today so they can get a nice bit of natural rainwater. I've also been sorting through my seeds this morning. We've got quite a few packs from last year that have still got plenty of onion seeds in them. But I think what I'm going to do as well this year is come January, I'm going to reorder all my seeds fresh, just so we can avoid any delays on germination in case we've got seeds that are no longer viable. So I've got loads and loads of packs of different types of seeds. But I've got a plan for those. At some point in spring, I'm just going to clear one at raised beds, and I'm just going to dump all these different seeds into a raised bed and cover them over and see what we get. There's going to be a mixture of all different types of things. And because they're old seeds, we might as well do that. And then that way we can start the year off getting something rather than nothing, just like we always do. But for now, I am going to use the onion seeds that's in here, because I know that a couple of these packs are dated 2024, so they should be alright. I'll also pop that outside to get a bit of watering. That's a container blueberry bush. I always leave it in greenhouse as much as I can during winter, just to avoid a lot of frost damage. It looks alright today. It's not actually really cold today, but we're getting that nice bit of rain, so that's going to help. And I'm going to pop those outside as well, because by the time I finish making this video, that job will have been done for me. I know a lot of people tend to sow the onion seeds on Boxing Day, but for the sake of a day or two, it's not that important. Plus, weather's rubbish, and we're still in Christmas mode at the same time. And thank you very much to everybody that sent the Christmas wishes. It was massively appreciated, and I hope you had a really nice Christmas too. So I'm digging out various trays, and I've got quite a few of these kicking about. I've been saving these for a couple of years. These are just cells that came originally with flowers in when I used to do a lot of flowers. But they're not bad sized cells, and that can hold quite a lot of plants in a very small area. So these are going to be perfect for those onions. And I think I've got some red, but I'm not sure. If not, obviously this is the time of year when I'm going to start making plans for what I am going to be growing through 2024. So I'll be making a list up of the seeds that I'm going to need. And you'll probably know that all this year we've been making a month by month sowing series. So you only have to click on that playlist and it'll tell you what seeds you're going to need in January. So that's going to be as priority over the next few days leading up to New Year, getting all that sorted out in place so we've got everything we need when we need it. So I'm going to use those two, assuming we've got enough seeds. And I've got some compost over here that's been sieved as well. Onions can take a long time to germinate and a long time to grow, so we need to get a jump on these as quick as we can. So we don't want to hinder them by putting them into lumpy compost, and that's why we sieve it, to make it nice and fine. And because we're using these particular cells, they're not taking up any space. They're not taking up much compost at all either. I've not quite got round to thinking about ordering compost at the moment, but I will be doing soon enough. So, you all know the drill. We just compact it down using the same size tray, and then we can get a little bit extra compost in there. So just a minute or so and that's one filled, and I'm going to do two, because between just those two little trays with that very small amount of compost, that's 100 onions, give or take. So I'll fill this and we'll get those seeds sown. So that's just two trays set up. I'm just going to make that little dent in these cells just quickly, just a shallow one. We don't want to put onion seeds too deep, just enough so we can cover them very lightly. And before we sow those seeds, I am going to give them a bit of watering, just to get these on the way. So now we'll get some of these seeds in. I think we're going to need all of these. I am going to multi-sow them slightly. I'm just going to put 2 or 3 in each cell. That's just going to give us a better chance of germination from each cell. I think I dropped more like 6 in that one. Never mind. You can plant onions out as multi-sown bunches like you would do spring onions, and they'll grow perfectly happy together. They'll just push each other apart as they grow, but it's not a problem. I think that's more what we're heading towards here. I keep dropping more than a couple in. At least this way we're going to find out if these seeds are viable before we even get to spring. With still plenty more time to sow more. There we go. That's worked out perfect. That's all seeds used. Now we just need to give them a really light covering. It's going to help those onions break that surface quicker, and then they're on the way. Of course you can just cover them up in normal way if you want to. This is just what I do. And it doesn't take long, as you can see. But that's about as fine a covering as you'll get. Now they're covered over, I've just given them a little water, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those indoors. They're going to get that little bit more warmth over the next week or so, which is going to help those seeds germinate a lot quicker. But you could just leave them in your greenhouse, because as you've seen, they'll germinate anyway, just not quite as fast. But even though it's not yet 2024, we've already got a really good start to the new season. We've got lots of things that's now starting to germinate. We've got potentially 100 onions on the way, a very established 5-foot trough full of carrots. As broad beans have finally come through, and then we've got as garlic. So although weather is still quite rubbish, we've still got a bit of early positivity to new season. And don't forget that indoors we've started off some early peppers, and we'll check on those tomorrow and see just how they've done over the last few days, because we only sowed those seeds about a week ago. But if you're not ready to start sowing and growing just yet, then check out his new channel where we're doing lots of quizzes to keep you entertained during horrible months. I'll leave a link in the description, and there's lots and lots of quizzes being added to that over the last week or so, so I'm pretty sure there's something for everybody in there. So since it's a completely miserable, horrible, wet, windy day, that's me done for now. But hopefully I'm going to be seeing you over the next few days when we start all the sowing and growing for 2024. Take care.